Okay. All right. The next inductee, if we can call up, and then it goes to Archie Bradley, which is one of our former great boxing histories. And we'll just get Bobby Webster and these two guests to come up and accept this on behalf of the late and great Archie Bradley. Bobby is going to do some things with these two dear ladies. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, inductee number 73, Archie Bradley. Inductee number 73, category as a boxer, history as a nationality Australian, birthplace in Gympie, date of birth 4th of January 1897, date of death 27th of March 1969, stance as an orthodox, professional record 28 wins, 12 losses and 3 draws. His achievements: Archie was known as the Gympie Whirlwind. His debut at the Old Brisbane Stadium on the 10th of July 1920. He was the first Queenslander to win the Australian welterweight title when he defeated the Australian Hall of Famer Tommy Wren on points over 20 rounds. 20 rounds! On 26th of January 1924. Bradley also defeated the National Hall of Famer Sid Godfrey in 1921. Archie was the fast, crowd-pleasing fighter who smashed 8 records at the Brisbane Stadium. He fought and defeated world-rated opponents for the Philippines, the United States and Europe, and at his hometown of Gympie very proud. Ladies and gentlemen, as the category of boxing, number 73, would you welcome the people on stage to accept his achievement, Archie Bradley, and here is Bob Webster on behalf of the family.
Archie's granddaughters, Joanne and Vicky. Just to put Archie into perspective, when he was born, Les Darcy was 15 months old. That's the era we're talking about. Archie Bradley fought 4 Australian Hall of Famers. He was signed at one stage to the biggest minimum payment contract by an Australian in Australia at the Brisbane Stadium, and that included the arrangement that Darcy had with Snowy Baker. When Bradley was at his top, they couldn't get the crowds into the Brisbane Stadium. He had a couple of fights at Davies Park in West End, just so they could accommodate the crowd. Not since Darcy had special trains being run to bring the crowds to a city. He finished his career in the late 20s. He was Norway champion only for a short time. As a kid, he was born with he developed rickets, and that affected his entire career because he kept breaking bones in his hands, and his hands ended in one fight he broke his wrist. At the end of his career, he got involved with old Jerry Jerome from Sherwood, and they promoted fights through the 30s, and indeed in December 1939, Jerry and Archie promoted two-night amateur fights at the stadium in aid of the Patriotic Fund, for which they were both given salutations from the Governor of Queensland. He died at age 69.
Okay, I'd just like to say something about Pop, about the last weeks of his life and what we remember. Towards at the end of his life, Pop spent his last few weeks in Gympie General Hospital. I was 14 at this time, and Jo, my sister, was 15 years of age, and we lived about 2 kilometres away from the hospital. So every other day, Jo and I would run up to the hospital to see Pop. He lay there like a little skeleton. He was just skin and bone. His heart was as stubborn as him and would not give in. His bed had railings around it so he could not get out. We used to say, "G'day, Pop," and he would look at us with these giant eyes and do a big right hook, left hook and an uppercut. He would continue to do this until he was totally exhausted. So that was the end of his life, basically.
to add to that I remember hearing one of the doctors in the hallway saying to Grandma, I've never seen anybody with a heart like this man. He's always been compared to as having the heart of Far, the great racehorse. And he really, really was. They were just waiting for his heart to give out, so you can imagine the stamina that man had. I'd just like to say that on behalf of our family that Pop was a star and a hero during his boxing career. His star shines even brighter today because of the recognition by the Boxing Association of his amazing achievements. He will now forever become part of this country's history forever. However, his star shone brightest when he was just our Pop. We were his world and he was ours. And I would just like to say, Pop, I know that you're looking down today with that big smile. And I would like to thank you and congratulate you from all of the family. We love you so much. We always have, and you'll always be a hero to us. And if I could just add, on the day that Jeff was fighting, we didn't see the fight, and I just remember asking my husband all the time, what's the time, what's the time? They must be staying their fight. And I just looked up to the sky and said, Pop, put all of your strength into Jeff's hands. Put every bit of strength you've got, and he'll win. And I didn't know he'd won. I was just flicking through the channels about 4 hours later, which happened to be a racing channel. And I heard one of the racing commentators say, and Jeff Horns won, and I went, thanks, Pop, you put every bit of strength you had into his hands, and you were his hands. So thank you very much. This is the biggest
Thank you. There you are. This great award to Archie Bradley, inductee number 73, to his wonderful family.